Lamar Jackson has officially made public that he's requested a trade.
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Brees Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo. And back-to-back videos. Yes, I was watching the Robert Saleh news, so totally entrenched in that I totally missed that Lamar Jackson requested a trade away from the Baltimore Ravens. The report is that he had put in this trade like 25 days ago. I believe it was March 2nd was when he officially put this in. The Ravens have known this for a little under a month and haven't moved on it at all. And this is going to be an interesting time for the team because the offer sheet is still out there, but while the Ravens can still match with Lamar requesting a trade, it kind of seems that a sign and trade is the more likely and most likely scenario for what's going to happen. Now, a lot of teams are probably going to get reinterested in Lamar Jackson now that this trade request has been made public. A couple of reasons for that is as long as people believed that Lamar and Baltimore were going to kiss and make up and that he was going to stay there and that Eric DeCosta, the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens, would match any deal offered by any team was on the board, there was no point in any team reaching out to try and go get Lamar Jackson. Well, with that not being the case, there are a ton of teams that are probably going to look at going and getting Lamar Jackson. Here's the real thing, that if you're Baltimore, you're kind of being held over the coals a little bit here, is Lamar has no incentive to sign the tag. He doesn't have to sign the tag. He can just sit out. The Baltimore Ravens don't really have a backup plan at quarterback, and with it being so little time until the draft, I worry about how much actual draft compensation you're going to be able to get for a guy like Lamar Jackson. Not long term, that's not the point, but I mean in the short term, for this year's draft. I think that there is a ton of incentive for all of these teams to reach out to a guy like Lamar Jackson and say, hey, we want to bring you on this team. We want to do these things, but we're not going to have those conversations, and we're not going to offer contracts or even talk to the Baltimore Ravens until after the trade or until after the draft, because you have to assume that first-round picks are going to be a part of the package. That being said, when you look at like the teams that are going to be interested, they're not going to want to give up top 10 picks, because the two teams that come to mind are, the Atlanta Falcons, and that makes a ton of sense. But do they want to give up the number 8 pick for Lamar Jackson when at number 8 they can add a wide receiver to help him? They have Drake London. Imagine Jackson Smith-Njigba, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, the running back that they have Damon Pierce, Algier, and Lamar Jackson in that offense. Like, that makes a ton of sense. Maybe they want to go offensive line to protect Lamar Jackson if they were to go and pursue that way of thinking. There's a couple of interesting ways that they can go when it comes to that. The same thing goes for, I think the Indianapolis Colts would be all in on a guy like Lamar Jackson. But do you want to really give up the number 4 pick for Lamar Jackson? Now, there could be a conversation to be had that this is a pretty good quarterback class when it comes to the rookies. Number 4 almost guarantees you that you walk away with one of the top 4 guys. Probably Will Levis. There could be a conversation had between the Indianapolis Colts and Baltimore saying, look, you guys need to replace Lamar Jackson at quarterback. We want Lamar and we're willing to pay him the contract that he wants. What if instead of multiple first-round picks, we look at lesser compensation in later years, but we're giving you the number 4 pick? I don't know what happens there. I don't know what Lamar Jackson's true value in the trade market is. We know that a lot of teams look at him as a limited quarterback. I agree with that assessment. I look at him as a limited quarterback. I look at him as a guy who hasn't been healthy in the last 2 years with an injury. A guy that hasn't been able to find success in the playoffs with a team that had been catered to his skill set. I don't know. All I know is that the New York Jets shouldn't be in on Lamar Jackson at all, but this is a pretty big shakeup because a lot of teams are going to come out of the woodworks, and a lot of shakeups are going to possibly happen with this year's draft and the draft strategy that might happen. This is really, really interesting. Let me know who you think is going to be all in on Lamar Jackson in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.